Julius Malema, good evening, my brother. I come to you tonight as a simple pink man who's very confused by the speech that you made on Tuesday the 13th. And I'd like to discuss it with you. I probably would never get the chance to meet you face to face, so I'm going to do it this way on camera. Let me begin by saying that you don't scare me for a minute, even though you look quite frightening at times. You do have my respect for your charisma and your courage. And I want to start by telling you could be a good leader if you were a little more honest, a little less divisive, and a little less inflammatory. I particularly want to discuss that part of your speech, which was, for me, more of a violent rant than a speech, if you don't mind me saying so. Besides the fact that it was entirely racist, because you essentially accused whites of being violent, abusive, murderous rapists. It was a speech so full of disingenuous, inaccurate nonsense that only the brain dead or drunk could possibly have bought it. I tell you what, but it was so disturbing that even my dog had to lie down. Anyway, the net result is that I've taken the time to dissect and expose your tirade for what it was. I've taken most of what I counter you with from academic text. So it's not just subjective conjecture. These are facts. Right, let's go. Let's listen to the first thing that you said.
We are not violent people. Violence came here through a ship in 1652. It was brought by a white man.
Oh, really? This is what history says, but pre-colonization African tribes were extremely expansive and violent against rival tribes. Or did you forget about all the wars in South Africa before the white man arrived, including the 2-year-long war fought between the Zulus and the Ndwandwe tribes? Not to mention how violent King Shaka was, and the many thousands of people he killed in his lust for power. I mean, did you know that when Shaka's mother died, he was so grief-stricken that he ordered that no crops should be planted during the following year of mourning, no milk, which was the basis of the Zulu diet at the time, was to be used, and any woman who became pregnant was to be killed along with her husband. At least 7,000 people who were deemed to be insufficiently grief-stricken were executed. That's not violent. Julius, is that not violent to you, my friend? That was long before the white man came here.
Rape was brought by a white man.
Really? Well, I checked the textbooks and learned that in pre-colonial Africa, violence against women was common, including femicide, rape, intimate partner violence, female genital mutilation, and early marriage. But you would have us believe that the white man brought the male sexual urge to South Africa. The white man did that.
Abuse was brought by a white man.
This too, Julius, is straight from the textbooks. Black women in traditional African societies were subordinate to men. The position of women was inferior. They had to raise children, care for the home, and see to the needs of the family. In African societies, women were expected to undertake agricultural tasks as well as to help feed the family. So in every way, African women were abused.
Murder was brought by a white man.
Nobody was murdered in Africa before the white man arrived. Even you're not that stupid, my friend. This is straight from the textbooks. King Shaka was a strong but brutal leader. Anyone who disobeyed an order was immediately killed. He sometimes massacred a whole village to send a message, women and children included. Which answers your next statement.
Killing of children was brought by a white man.
You know, when you make an utterly ridiculous statement like that, do you honestly believe that there was never any violence in pre-colonial Africa? I mean, that's the kind of statement that not even an uneducated child would make.
Yeah, in South Africa, there is no black man who initiated violence.
Have you really overlooked all the violent tribal wars throughout pre-colonial history. And to be absolutely honest, Julius, my friend, your own party, the EFF, is the most violent political party in South Africa today. Not only do you protest violently by destroying public property, but you make violent statements against white people. Statements like, and I quote you, "We are not calling for the slaughter of white people yet, and we're going to cut the throat of whiteness." Please tell me, my socialist friend in a Gucci suit, and I say this with absolute respect, do you not feel even a little bit embarrassed when you get up in front of so many people and sprout such absolute rubbish? Not even just a little bit ashamed. I mean, have you so little pride that you will willingly mislead so many people with information that is absolute nonsense? Or do you think that by waving your arms around and shouting loudly will make what you say true? Surely you can't be that ignorant, my friend. But let me leave you with a simple bit of advice, Julius. And I've written this down, so I'm going to read it to you. You can never be a successful leader of any country when you carry in your heart such hate for another race. You make no bones about the fact that you hate whites. You don't even try to hide it. Not even for Vut, P.W. Botha, and other National Party leaders ever declared hatred for another race. You do. You will never lead this country so long as you carry on behaving the way you are now. Never. But listen, but let me just tell you, you probably, if you ever get to watch this video, you're probably looking at it and thinking, this is just a racist old man from the old regime. Well, let me tell you, I'm not a racist at all. Let me tell you a quick story. I don't know how old you are. I don't even know if you were born yet. But when I was a much younger man in my early 30s, this country was burning. I'm talking about like 1985, 1986. And one day I sat down in my recording studio. This is a recording studio, by the way. I sat down in my recording studio in Durban, and my heart was troubled by the tension in this country, the racial tension. And I was vehemently anti-apartheid, trust me. But I was a young man, I didn't know too much, I wasn't politically enlightened. But one day I sat in my studio alone, and I remember I was almost in tears, and a song came to me. And it became one of the first successful reconciliation songs, but it came right out of my heart. And it was a song that became a hit for PJ Powers. You might know it. It was called Sanbonani. And this is how the chorus went. Just in case you think I'm a racist. Sanbonani, Sanbonani, why do you cry? Sanbonani, Sanbonani, we could be together. Sanbonani, Sanbonani, don't need to cry, the sun will shine on the other side. But hey, but look, you live in a nice house in Hyde Park, and you're obviously very wealthy. So why don't you pack it in and try something else, man? I reckon you'd make a great salesman, seriously. Maybe selling cheap Chinese products. Or perhaps you could become a farmer. There's a thing. Anyway, but I don't want to fight with you. So let me wish you a great weekend and all the best for your future. Peace.